One of those things that might take a lot of effort can be hair. Like, thankfully for me, like I'm at a stage with these dreads where I can really just, you know, go in the shower and wet it a little bit and I look decent. Now, a lot of y'all can't tell because of how far back I am, but if you get close enough, you'll see that, getting close enough time, I need to get these things retwisted. But you can do a lot with just putting in a little. It's not like you just wake out of bed and you forget to put the do rag on and that sort of thing. You know? But how important is like hair for you, Ricky? Like you got a routine for that?
You know, I mean, obviously you and me, we have different type of hair. So a lot of times I can't go out the house if it's, a mess because it get tangled and all that stuff. But sometimes what I would do if it's really tangled is I put on a hat or something. So, but I try and make sure that it goes with what I'm wearing and the occasion of what I'm doing, right? So if I'm going to work or something like that, and I work outside, so I'm
Mhm.
not gonna put on like a beanie or something like that because that would just be ridiculous. But I can put on something that's gonna make me look, presentable and professional. If I'm going out into a club or something like that, I might not take the same approach. I might actually do the time and do my hair instead of trying to wear a hat or something like that into the club.
Yeah. Speaking of going in the club, do you got to go to fit?
A go-to fit, um, I kind of do. I have these light wash jeans that I wear with these black Jordans. It's Jordan 13s with the it has like the orange stripe. I don't know how to exactly describe them, but the Jordan 13s, the people watching can Google the Jordan 13s, the black ones, and I'll just wear a plain black shirt with that.
Mm,
So you got the light wash jeans, they're kind of distressed. You got the black shoes and a black shirt, and
that's
I wear
fire.
just one chain on. So it's very simple and it's not very distracting, and it helps me more accentuate my arms because they look good in the shirt. It's fitted, and it brings more attention to my face and less to my outfit entirely. But you could tell like it still looks good.
Right. Right. Which is good. Like it sounds like it's very direct fit. You're not doing too much. You're not overcompensating about nothing. You just got the chain, like you said. Man, that's a clean look. And again, with the Jordans, I'm already thinking in my head, man, he's coming through with the Jordans. That's always an essential when you're going out. Like I can't remember a club where the ratio to like Jordans to not a Jordan isn't like 75-25, right? Like it's just automatic. But I mean, for me though, I usually like my go-to one, and this is something I wanted to point out too. When it comes to fashion, y'all, if you got a female friend, and I know how the Spears talks about, female friends, but my exception for it is if they do provide value to your life. They provide value to your life outside of, that that's important because I got a top tier female friend who put me on to this fit. I'm about to tell y'all. I got the Tims, the Chicago Bulls Tims. I got the black kind of camo, like black, white, gray camo pants, white fitted tee, the chain, and the watch. When she told me about it, when she was like, you know, when you start putting this on, like, is gonna turn heads, and it started turning heads. And at that moment, I was like, okay, like, take this woman's advice because we're going out like the same way that you know we're going out to the club. If we're going out to the club to try to put a good look on, then we should take women's advice because ideally those are the ones who are going to be want to look for that praise from. We're not going to the club you know with the mindset of like I want to make sure I look good for the bros. you know what I'm saying,
Yes,
unless
sir.
that's your thing. If that's your thing, that's a little different, but if not, we want to follow the advice of the person that we're kind of like leaning into that on.
Yes, sir. And another thing with the female friends, I have a girlfriend that I met at work, my old job, and she puts me on certain things, puts me on some type of trendy stuff. Because I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to social media, I'm not the best at it. I'll be straight up and honest. I'm not on my phone all the time because most of the time I'm trying to get that bag. You know what I'm saying? And she'll put me on different things. So I think that is very good advice. Having a female friend that's, you know, very in tune with what's going on with society and what's popular in the, and I'm not saying, you know, chase the trends and, you know, wear the Supreme and the clout goggles, right? I did all of that. Shit, my homecoming, I wore the clout goggles to
Oh,
homecoming.
at the cloud goggles, you're gonna have to post that on the gram, my boy.
Ah, I'll send you a picture of it later. But yeah, I had the clout goggles on at homecoming, and I was always a trend chaser until, you know, I took kind of a step back and was like, well, maybe I should just get my style and try and look the best that I can look, while also, you know, implementing some stuff that is also trendy, but not just going straight boom trend, 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 because that's a quick way to run out of money.
Yeah. And in the sphere, the most important things that we talked about, it's money, muscles, and game. All right. So the I feel all those parts can be intricated in fashion. And let me explain why. Because with money, when you talk to channels like us, we're not going to tell you, to get the most trendy thing. We're not going to lean towards that because we know that it doesn't impact your ability to get women. Now, obviously, if you're a millionaire, you're going to have access to a lot more women. However, if you're a millionaire and you don't have your muscles, if you don't have game in place, if you don't have the looks, then that's still going to put you at a loss. You're going to lose to people like us with much less money because you don't have these other things in place. And when it comes to fashion, you do not have to break the bank at all. Like Rick was mentioning, just one chain, maybe a watch. I'm the same sort of way. A chain, watch, maybe two at the same time, but nothing over the top. We're not out here spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this stuff when we have bigger goals. We have bigger ambitions. We don't need to put all of our money, our hard-earned money, into fashion, but we can look at fashion and see what we like and take from it and just add to our overall look. And that will then roll into game because your look is going to increase your confidence, which is going to lead to a lot more ability to execute your goal, like whatever goal that may be when you're talking to a woman.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna ask you this, because I'm at the point in my life where I'm getting ready to get my own place. You know, I got a good job and all that stuff right now. So I'm trying to transition my style because I still have, you know, a lot of my clothes from when I was in high school and when I was in middle school. I never grew, so I still have all those clothes.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to people that are trying to transition into more of an adult centered style?
Adult centered style. So you would want to think of, first of all, get clothes that fit you. Gotta get clothes that fit you. The grown look is something along the lines of polo. Obviously, I'm not going to say go out and buy all these polo shirts because polo's pricey. But if you're ever thrifting or if you're ever Goodwill shopping, if you're ever at a secondhand store, like a really clutch one would be Burlington Coat Factory, Burlington or a Ross. They sell a lot of the kind of trendy but more grown, like established looks. So those are great places to go and get those off of. And I know if you're against going to thrift shops for whatever reason, I do have a video, if I haven't made it already, but I will have one that talks about the benefits of thrifting. Because thrifting is going to save you a lot of money. And there's a lot of areas where you can go to where people just give away really, really nice clothes. Like I would say at a time when I was pulling the most, my wardrobe was about 30, like it was a third of it was thrift completely. Like even the hoodies, even the jackets. So I would definitely say look at like more of those established grown brands like a Polo or Ralph Lauren, and then see where you can get it that fits your budget.
As far as thrifting goes, you know, my first suit that I ever bought was at Goodwill and it was $8. And I used that suit for a job interview at the time and I got the job and the guy complimented me on how I looked, how I presented myself. So
There you
fashion
go.
is a huge thing, and you can get that at a thrift store for relatively cheap. For a guy like myself that, we never really had money like that, so we had to go to the thrift stores. And I know that a lot of your viewers and my viewers that are in similar positions where, they might have an opportunity lined up and they don't really have any type of clothes to wear. So I think a thrift store is a very, very valid option to finding stuff that can be very good quality at a low price.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. And then going back to now, I know we talked about like affordable like clothing options, but another one I've been thinking about is the best clout brands like go to. And again, we're not going to press you or like force you or say, hey, go and get all these brands. However, when you're out on the dating scene, and this is going to go for a wide range of the viewers, and you're looking for a certain type of girl, and you just want to, that's the thing. There's two different paths. You can just do for the recreational use, you know what I'm saying, or a relationship. If you're looking for a girl for recreational use, go get something from Champion, get you some Tommy Hilfiger, get you some Nike, get you some Adidas, get you anything along that realm. Literally anything that Russell Westbrook puts on, anything that Kyle Kuzma wears, for the hoopers out there, anything that Lil Baby puts on, to some extent, obviously with pricing, because these guys are walking around in $500 shirts, anything that
Yeah.
young boy got on, literally take a picture of what he's wearing off Instagram. Go find it on Pinterest, like a cheap version, right? You can just take like the screenshot, and I have a video on this with Pinterest. You take the screenshot of it and you put it in, and it will show you like all these cheaper versions of, what his shirt was, including like the actual price, right? And you can just get one of them, and boom, all of a sudden, you got the clout opportunists who think you're rich and you think you're this and that, even if you are, but you're not going to give it to them. So kind of easy way to get out ahead of that.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna have to check out that video on your Pinterest stuff, um, because I never even knew you could do that. I didn't know you could search up, an image on Pinterest and it'll show you that. You said it shows you the prices of different options too.
When you first go on there, you're able to like go to the search bar, and there's a button right to the right where you can just upload an image, upload the image that you had, and then it will like manifest and load like all these different versions of like a shirt or a hoodie that you had on. And it might even get the jeans too. It depends like what you crop to. Some are more accurate than others. So it's, it just goes like that. But it's a really cool thing to use. I would definitely like literally just take Pinterest, just take like, one of Chris Brown's outfits or something that, like I said, Young Boy had on. Just screenshot it, put it in there and see what you get.
Yeah, and guys, don't get discouraged if you use this on the very rich guys, and you get like bodega boots and Balenciaga shirts and stuff like that. That is for guys like us is out of the question for if you're financially smart. But you can buy something that looks very similar, like you said, and you said that it shows you similar options too.
That's right. So it will show you like you'll get the actual fit, and then you'll see cheaper versions of the fit. You'll see stuff you can get on like an Amazon, an eBay, or just these secondhand manufacturers that will make replicas, because that's a booming business there. Like no one really wants to like spend all their money on designer when they're not going anywhere. That it doesn't make any sense. We have a lot of practical people out there, and with how inflation is and just how the world is, there it doesn't make any sense to just spend all your money on something like that.
Okay, when I was in ninth grade, my second freshman year, because I failed freshman year. My second freshman year, I was in a charter school where I had to wear uniforms. What would be your advice on the kids that might be watching this video that have to wear uniforms in school? That it might be a little bit hard to dress like. I know I'm very into fashion, so when I was in these schools, I was like trying to find different ways that I can change up my style a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, I would lean towards doing what you can with what you can. So like for example, with your school, did you have limitations when it came to like your shoes?
No, and that's a big thing that I was gonna bring up too. Is there was like three different shirt options. They were all the same color though, but so I was able to wear different types of shoes with what I did, and I wore different necklaces or bracelets, and did my hair a different type of way, or that's what I did.
Yeah, I agree with all that. You know, you work with what you can. I was in a school. They didn't make us do uniforms, but it was definitely limited. And obviously, you know, you have a limited budget as a kid. You know, so
Mhm.
I would just literally do with what I could. I would get a lot of different shoes. You know, I would go to sections in Ross and Goodwill. Literally, just growing up, that's why it's on my mind. But I would just be over there, and I would just get whatever shoes that made sense, but also thinking in my head, okay, what do I have at home? Does this match? Like, would this be a good look if I went out in public with it? And, you know, quickly I was just, you know, that guy who had all these different shoes. You know, this was before the dread. So I was just doing all the shoes. So literally just work with what you can and think of things outside of the box. Like I never thought I was gonna be rocking dreads. I never thought I was gonna grow out a fro or beard, and then it just happens. So keep that in mind and just do not limit yourself. That's really what it comes down to, because I feel a lot of times, you know, circumstances can make you limit what you feel like you can do with fashion. And I would advise strongly against that, because that just puts away your ability as a person. And fashion, to an extent, is a reflection of how you feel as a person.
Okay, this is gonna be a little bit of a different type of question, but how do you think tattoos affect your style and your fashion in a way? Do you think it affects it at all?
Mm, depends where the tattoo is. Depends where it is at. Cause like I got a tattoo and it's just right down here. You wouldn't see it unless I'm wearing a tank top. So it depends on how it's out there. I would say it will greatly improve your sexual market value as a man if you see a tattoo just on a day-to-day basis and it's hidden. Not at all. But I think, you know, again, it has to come down to art. And
Okay.
if it's a good tattoo, then you be golden regardless. Even if it's hidden, you know, when the time comes, they'll love it. If it's not hidden and it's just not a good tattoo, like it's kind of goofy, like, you know, I know girls who will have like tattoos that they'll have done from a friend and it's free and it just does not look good, you know.
Yeah, I know a few that have gotten, party tattoos and stick and pokes and all that stuff, tattoo on your finger or your ankle or whatever. I've definitely seen those. Me personally, like I have this piano right here, and
Okay,
I
yeah.
have one right there, if I can get it. It's Marcus Aurelius,
Marcus Aurelius, I'm not familiar, who is he?
a philosopher, stoicism,
Hmm.
and that's just the type of art I like. Tattoos, right? So I'm gonna get this whole sleeve done eventually. I'm gonna be financially responsible, but yeah. So down the line, and I think I'm not necessarily sure how I feel on that in regards of style and fashion, because me personally, I'm not really getting anything that you can't really cover up with a dress shirt until I get my money up. I might, but you know, because that'll affect how people look at you professionally, whether or not you like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to tattoos. Thankfully, we're moving into a global marketplace that is much more is much more lenient when it comes to that sort of professionalism. You know, about 3 4 years ago, I worked with a girl and she had a tattoo that was, you know, I think it was a rose just coming up to here, right? They would tell her, oh, you know, you might want to cover that when you go to the events. She was able to get away with it regardless, just because they don't really care at this point. You know, there's a lot, you know, thankfully, which is one of the bright spots of the progression again of this world today. We're in a time where we're not judged so much as that, you know, the same way I could be judged with dreads, or the same way you would be judged with piercings. You know, people might look at that as like, oh, you know, for whatever reason, I wouldn't want to hire this person. Get out of here. That doesn't apply at all. So, thankfully, people look at it in a bright space. And with your tattoos, man, I know I was talking earlier about how, public and private, tattoos and how they would affect themselves. With how good yours look, bro, you wouldn't have any issue with that, which is cool. And as you continue to get them all done on your arm, all I'm gonna tell you is get someone who knows what they're doing.
Yes,